Hello, this is David Birch at StarPath School of Navigation with a 2 or 3 minute, or I don't know, short follow-up called Part 3, which will follow up Part 2 of this discussion that we just had here. This is pretty much the way we left it at the end of Part 2. I was overlaying two forecasts. One was the red one, which is a pure GFS forecast, and then the black one is the digitized version of this map, this National Weather Service map. So the black data is the NDFD, National Digital Forecast Database, NDFD. And so that's we can overlay, and it has a dead end right here and right here. But so we're just looking at here, and we noticed right at the end that there's a big difference between these two forecasts around the area of the fronts. And maybe, well, I guess you'd have to call that a big difference, but it's light air. Light air, maybe even more important. But anyway, there's these models here have different, these two forecasts are different. So I've since though learned, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing this, is because I learn a lot about it myself. I've learned a lot nicer way to present this, and now these two models are shown here with two different colors. Red and black. Before I had them both blue and didn't know how to turn this on. You can turn on different colors by just using, first of all, adding this ensemble display up here to the weather panel, and then just turning that on. And so even though ensemble forecast often means same model run with either different initialization parameters, different data input or different initialization parameters, but it's the same model. Or sometimes ensemble could mean a collection of what the forecasts are starting at slightly different initialization times. However, within Expedition, you can also, reasonably enough, do ensemble, meaning you just add together and look at two totally different models. And so that's so you find it under ensemble, then you can have different models with different colors. Very powerful, nice feature. So here we see these big differences. But now with this setup, we can expand this just a little bit to show something else. The main problem why the pure GFS is not working is because of this front here, this front. And we can see that. You see, we see all this trouble here, and we're looking at 12 Zulu on February 19th. So let's do this. Let's just get rid of this map, which I think I can go here, and then just close it. Does that get rid of it? Well, I thought it would. Let me try again. Images, here, remove. That's the right word. Remove it. Okay. Now, not close it. Just close that window down. So now we're looking at the same thing we just did, but without that map. But then let's go to the weather and then just go back. These are now going back in maybe 6 hour steps. But okay, so that's far enough back. But here's a point to look at. Here is now some hours back before that front came to the neighborhood. And look at this. This NDFD data is pretty much, there's a little bit of differences here, but you see that it's pretty much identical to the GFS. So in this case, you wouldn't be gaining a bit by all that extra work. See, it's still the same. These winds are all the same. And look at that, they're all still the same. So what that means is that the National Weather Service forecast is essentially using pure GFS themselves when they make the forecast. I think that's what that means. But then as you go further forward, now we're up to 36 hours, still the same. And so what's happening then forward? 44. Now let's just go back a little bit. So see here they are pretty much the same, and now we see them differing as that front starts to come in. We don't see the front on this picture, but now you see we're up around the 40 hours as this front's coming in, these winds diverge. And then the more the front dominates that area, the more it'll be different. And I don't know if the fact that the front is they have different model up here, but it also at the same time when that's being different, it looks like it's pushing things around, that you have more differences down here than we had before. Some places really the same, but others are different. So that's the whole idea. That's one of the things I really want to point out, that the pure GFS often is it's going to be closer to the truth way more often than far from the truth. But in areas around fronts or cases where like the first stages of an early development of a tropical system, then you might find big differences, or at higher latitudes, depending on the winds aloft. But that's the thing to look at. And here you have this super slick way to compare the NDFD, which is the digital version of their graphic forecast. You can compare it with pure GFS. And another reminder that you can get from SailDocs, just from Expedition or from an email request to SailDocs, you can download this NDFD data from SailDocs at the same time you're downloading the GFS. So that's the point of my note.